myself on this YahKon DahWay private production. Due to the nature of the campsite and various reasons, we want to keep this brief. Our intention was to do this a little earlier throughout the day, but due to the setup of material and everything that we have to portray when it comes to this type of audio-video venture, we want to do a brief stint here. Today I'll be going over some very important primary information on our founder, his ministry, his endeavors and encounters, and the purpose of us presenting ourselves continuously through our social media platforms and also in other ways that we go out into the society. Now tonight, or this evening I should say, it is an opportunity for me as your host to briefly introduce a strong foundation of our founder, Nathan Evans, of Five Alive Productions and Gospel Pioneers Ministries, who is a very profound believer of the Most High, and he's a strong, straight faith established person, which is one reason why I chose to be the host of this production company. It was a great opportunity for me to do so. Currently, we're at the one of the state parks in a very quiet location, so excuse me if the audio is not of bliss, but I want to try to make sure that we can relay as much information on a short stint as much as we can. So, but that's it. Years ago, our founder, before I was established as the host, of course, the story goes that growing up in the projects, he had a very, let's say, very interesting childhood. From what I know, that is that when it comes to encounters, spiritual encounters and encounters of entities of other types of anatomy. Growing up as a child, he felt like he was contacted by otherworldly beings or spiritual entities, and it's, as far as I know, it started in the projects. He grew up in the projects. Obviously, as a child, he had some time on a farm with some late members of the elders in his family, and that is a story in itself. But tonight, I want to say that the history of our founder has been based on his faith in the Lord. And so putting the ministry first at Gospel Pioneers Ministry has always been his purpose, and found a sturdy foundation. Everything else that we do has been a part of the ministry, and I'm proud to be a part of that myself. I'm a believer myself, as your host. Of course, my faith is, I believe, just as strong as it can be as a character in this ministry and represent Five Alive Productions. And so it's an honor to be able to be given a chance to tell a little bit about the story of the founder that would help people understand our purpose. And our purpose solely through our founder is to, through a message that he received from a higher calling. It's real simple. It's to praise God and create. And if you know my founder, and if you know Five Alive Production, if you know the history of his ministry, you know it has been based on creation and worshiping the Lord. So, giving me an opportunity to expand my talents and my gifts, sharing opportunities with me, our founder, of course, with material that he's allowed me to articulate, and it's been great. It's been wonderful. But back to the story of founder. As a young kid, these abductions and encounters and spiritual entities, he believes happens back then when he was, say, in the late 70s, early 80s. Encounters in his bedroom where he felt like he was lifted from his bedroom into the ceiling. That's just one thing to say that I know for sure is one thing that the foundation of his encounters as a young man. And I'll tell you another thing. Some of these things that he's encountered have been either erased from his mind, he believes, from what I've been told from him, is that some things he's been reflecting on comes and goes, but I just want to stress the foundation of his beliefs and the reason why he's put so much effort into what we do. Goes all the way back to his childhood, and it's a story in itself, you know, because he's done so much throughout the corporation, and we can't go over everything in one camping night. That's impossible, and I don't think it's fair to him to try to do that. So, as the host, I'll explain those things. Another thing is, now we can't do this on we're on a strict budget here, considering how times are going. We understand that we're launching a website soon here, and the material and the clothing line, and even I've had an opportunity to launch 55 Feathers as a representation of my native background, and it also represents his background. His grandmother's, as well as mine, is full-blown Native American, so we share a lot of common welfare in those areas, and so I think that's why he drew to me as a host. We strongly have a lot of beliefs that are similar. Of course, his work I could never duplicate. I wouldn't try to do that. I doubt if anyone could duplicate his services, because we know that many are called, few are chosen. Now, I'm not a minister today, I'm just your host, but I am a believer, so I'll say that with confidence. But knowing that our founder had encountered these type of situations growing up as a teenager, or as a minor, I should say, will help everyone understand the story of his life. And on up to today, there's a series of things that have taken place since then. And that's part of the reason why I'm here, is to have an opportunity to share parts of the story, of his story, I should say, that well benefits the ministry, and it benefits the foundation of the company at Five Alive Productions, and what we do when it comes to praising God and creating. Many talents and gifts have been given to our founder, and we all have talents and gifts. We have to tap into those talents and gifts. And I mean, just being a host here is it takes a lot of effort to come here and present myself as the host of Five Alive Productions. So this is a wonderful opportunity on a camping night. It's something that you don't see often, and so I wanted to take an opportunity to do so, leading up to some other things that we have planned on the horizon, which would be similar to what we're doing here tonight. I can't say that it will be the same, but there will be a lot of similarities to me popping in introducing and telling parts of the story of our founder and the reason Five Alive Production was launched. And there's so many things we can get into in that area. But what I want to do is put emphasis on the spiritual part of Founder's foundation for the company and the ministry, and the encounters that he have endeavored, and the encounters that he has endured, I should say, over the years, and to help me understand why he chose me to be the host. And the only way I can understand and relate it to people is to sit down and listen to his stories. And I feel very fortunate to be one that he chose to, open up to, because it's very hard to get someone who has endured so much of supernatural events, over the course of one life. So with that said, I'm going to end this session here, but I want to also say that we can do a lot more with your support and your support and your contributions. There have been contributions and support in the past when our founder was at the pulpit of his ministry. Since then, he's went on to aerospace and aviation and the automotive industry, which something he's been part of all in his sales and marketing career. And that's a whole nother story in itself. We'll get to that somewhere down the line. But this is just a small skit about the reason why we choose to share the knowledge and the wisdom of the invincible and those things that people so seek to understand other than our natural selves. So I get an opportunity to do that. It's a blessing for me. And I want to make sure that I utilize that opportunity the best way in my knowledge and power. So being your host, I'll execute